This week on Did Y'all See, we're talking about celebrity women choosing their careers over motherhood, Adrienne Bailon calling off her engagement, and Ahmed Mohammad being wrongfully accused of bringing a bomb to school. Get into all this tea on Did Y'all See. So, did y'all see, this week has been the week where people are coming out talking about childbearing and telling people not to ask them about it, and just really spilling all the tea about their personal lives. Gabrielle Union first spoke to Red Book saying that the penance for being a career woman is barrenness. And then Tyra Banks came out recently and said that she's been saying she wanted to have kids since she was 24. And he's even been through some like IVF procedures. And was in tears talking about it. So what do you guys think about their comments? Were you surprised by any of them?
I feel like it's a matter of knowing what you want. I mean, it's a shame that we have to choose, kind of. Mm-hmm. I think that you can have both, but I feel like you have to choose which one holds priority in your life more than, like, I feel like I've always known that, like, having a family was slightly more important to me than, you know, my career. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of knowing which one you want. But I don't know if these things are necessarily based on having a career. I feel like a lot of these women don't have kids because it's more of not meeting the right person mm-hmm. at the right time. Like, it's more about timing and, mm-hmm. you know, meeting somebody worthy of having a child as opposed to, like, my career is just taking off and I don't want to stop and take a break to have a kid. Mm-hmm.
Truth be told, a lot of us do get into relationships with people who don't necessarily, may feel intimidated by our careers, or they have a certain vision that doesn't necessarily match yours. So I think that's where a lot of the struggle comes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's complicated. I think we're lucky enough working in media where we have the type of opportunities where your career is a little bit more flexible.
Right.
I think so. You know, yeah. I think I've always thought of, you know, the marriage and parenthood thing being a little bit more important. So I've always, you know, I have plans to obviously try to expand my situation in the next few years. But
Look at my situation. Relationship or situation, because you know I'm in a situation. You know I'm in a situation right now.
But yeah, definitely, I think that's what always holds you back. And like you said, career is pretty much like a scapegoat. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, my career held me back. It has to be my career because I haven't been able to find the right man. I haven't been able to do. Well, I mean, yeah, like you said, it is kind of just like, you know, timing in life and, you know, what your plan is and everything. So if you don't find someone who, you know, you're ready to settle down with and then you want to be with, then you can't force it unless you really, really, really want to have children. So if you really, really, really want to have children, then you might need to pursue that on your own instead of waiting for someone else to help you make that whole thing come together. So it's a very complicated situation, and I felt, you know, sad watching Tyra because she was literally like crying. Right. And you know, many women in the spotlight have cried about this. Vivica Fox, a lot of people. And, you know, and they put it, and a lot of them, especially with the Gabrielle Union, you know, try to put it on the career. And it's like, well, you know, it's just, you know, it just, maybe isn't something that you were really that dead serious about. Because to me, for her, she's been with Dwayne for like quite a long time.
I feel like what she's not saying, and what I wouldn't say either if I were someone in her situation, and I mean like in her situation as a celebrity, speaking to different media outlets about a very personal subject. She probably just didn't want to say, I didn't know about Dwayne. I didn't know if me and Dwayne was gonna be together. So maybe I didn't feel comfortable having his kid. Like, they were on a break or whatever, and, you know, she probably didn't feel like this, I mean, because she was married before. So she probably had a divorce, probably didn't feel like that was the right situation. Probably is just now feeling comfortable with Dwayne. So, but that probably wasn't something to rush into either. I don't know, I just feel like I would just start telling people, please don't ask me that anymore. Like, please don't ask me about my uterus, about my biological clock. Like, we're here to talk about X, Y, or Z. Like, why is that? If that's something that I broach, then we can talk about that. But I think it is rude to be like, are you having a baby? Are you having a baby? Are you having a baby? When are you gonna have a baby? It's just, I think it's a rude question. So, did y'all see that Adrienne Bailon recently called off her engagement to Lenny Santiago? And listen, I remember we were here talking about this a lot yesterday. And initially, we were sad, like thinking that maybe, I don't know, he had broken up with her, there was some infidelity or some cheating or whatever, but then later in a statement, first in a statement to Us Weekly, and then when she explained it on the reel, she said, you know, like, I went on an Eat, Pray, Love journey, and I just realized I had to be truthful to myself. And so I'm like, oh. So what do y'all think of this news? Are you shocked, surprised?
I was shocked, and I was devastated. Like, that was my friend, for real. Because Adrienne is so sweet. But once I saw her, because I thought she was going to be all broken up, crying over herself. When you told me there was a video, I was like, oh, Jesus. But she was so strong. She did not shed a tear. She looked like she might have wanted to cry a little bit, but she was strong, and this was, you could tell that this was a decision that she came to on her own. And I started to realize that they're living on two different coasts. He's in New York, you know, where his wife and kids are. I mean, his ex-wife, sorry. Not trying to be messy. His ex-wife and his children are, and she's pursuing her career in LA. So it's hard. It's hard to sustain a relationship when there's that much distance between you. And I feel like Adrienne is a young woman, and she's pursuing her career, and I can see her going so far. So I feel like she chose herself in this situation. I'm cool.
I definitely agree with Jasmine. I think that's like the biggest revelation whenever you kind of go off and do your own thing, and not, you know, not that you're just out here in these streets, but if you are, like, for example, like my first boyfriend in college, I did like an internship at Princeton, and then like, I don't know, like yeah, it's like, and it's weird because it's like, it's nothing bad, but you know, you kind of just gauge, like, even if it's the simplest thing, like, what do you want to talk about, like, at night, you know, or like, I don't know, like, it's just, it's a very intricate thing, and you just kind of like realize through your gut, like, this is not for me. So, and ever since then, like, that's kind of like how I gauge my relationship. So that's why sometimes I like to travel by myself or just do my own thing, because, girl, you just get
you come back, girl,
you get revelations, and then you like, so you know, like, for me currently, it's like when I do travel, I'm like, oh, okay, so we're still good, you know, because sometimes when you travel, you get dreams too, you know, you get some dreams, so you know,
talk about it,
girl. So that's all I'm gonna say. But you get them dreams, and you like, oh. And it's nothing bad on the other people. It's just that, you know, God
you
just
get that
be
mental
speaking.
clarity.
Yes, so I definitely get where she's coming from, but I wish her the best. She's amazing. So, favorite cheetah girl.
Yeah, y'all got me scared. I'm about to go to Hawaii. Come back like,
You be alone by yourself.
I don't want to be in none of this. I don't want to be in this job. I don't want to be in this relationship. I don't want to be in this body. I'm just going to jump off. But no, I think when I heard it, I was sad because I remember just how excited she was about it. But I mean, if she went through some kind of moment of clarity where she found to herself like, oh yeah, no, this isn't what I need, or this isn't where I need to be, or this isn't what I really want, then I don't feel sad for her, because obviously that's a good thing, and it's better to figure that out before you walk down the aisle than to mess around and have to split everything you got.
Sign them papers.
Right, and then, you know, you're hurting people in the process. So, you know, you're always a little sad when engagements when they end, but like I said, it's just better to figure it out.
You know, I think she loves him. That's not a question. But I think it's like, okay, do I love him enough to be in a marriage? You know, and I think maybe that's what she couldn't commit to. But when I watched the reel, let me tell you something that struck me so deeply about Adrienne is that when Tamar asked her why she doesn't sing, and immediately she started crying, I was like, okay, so there are dreams that she has that she hasn't fulfilled yet for herself. And I feel like for some people can get married before they've accomplished their things, and that's fine for them, because being married is a dream for them too. But for some people, like, you have to have your own stuff together before you go into a marriage, and then have to focus all of your energy on the marriage. So I feel like she was probably like, you know what, there are some things I haven't done yet, and I can't, and he's here and I'm here, and this is the opportunity for me to do those things that I've been wanting to do and I haven't done. So let me do that, And maybe they will get back together now that I think about it. But
Okay.
but who knows? Who knows? But the thing is, when you haven't accomplished something that you want to do, you have to do stuff in the order that you know is right. And you just have to like really. I'm just so proud of her because she was courageous enough to do it. Because you know how many women would have just gotten married just because they didn't want to embarrass themselves? Like she announced this on national television. So I just think that's really, really incredible. I watched that thing and I was like, wow, I'm just really proud of her. So did y'all see this 9th grader? He's obviously brilliant. And so he made a clock and was proud of himself and wanted to show his teacher. So he brought it to school and he showed his English teacher, like, this is the clock that I made. And she said, it looks like a bomb. And things just spiraled out of control from there. Like he was suspended for 3 days. He was arrested, taken downtown, mugshots, fingerprints, all that type of stuff. And turns out it was a clock, like he said it was. So, what's going on?
Go ahead. Okay, see, trying to be very politically correct. Guide my tongue. I'm really tired of, I don't know if the teacher is right or not, but I feel as though some teachers, when they're dealing with certain students, no matter how hard they try to reform education in the curriculum, I still think that a lot of teachers just carry a lot of their prejudice with them in the classroom. And for you to think that this Muslim child is really just going to be like, here you go, and shit not pop off, then bitch, you still alive. So I don't understand why I had to get to this level. That's one. Two, when the Virginia Tech shootings happened, Nikki Giovanni was a professor there and had the guy as a student. She went to administration and told them, hey, this kid is writing disturbing material.
Girl,
and
receipts, Lauren.
No one did anything because it was a white male. But a Muslim boy who is 14 wants to make a clock because his IQ is off the chain, and y'all want to handcuff him? You know, like, and I can't even say do better because this is gonna happen next week to somebody else. So I just say all this to say this is the America that we live in, and I'm just happy to know that President Obama, Mark Zuckerberg, and many other people just have supported Ahmed with this tragedy, because this kid is brilliant, and then you have disturbed white people out here writing crazy nonsense and no one does anything at all. And I'm just over it.
Well, I feel like Lauren done said it all, so it's not much left to say. But I just find it sad that this baby came to the school. He was 3 weeks into high school. He was a freshman. He loved the robotics club, and he was in a part of the robotics club in middle school, and he was trying to find something equivalent to that in high school. He brought it to school. He showed it to his engineering teacher. His engineering teacher was like, that's great, but maybe you shouldn't show this to anybody else. You know what I'm saying? But he's excited. You know, this is what he does. The English teacher confiscated it, and next thing you know, they snatching him out the classroom with a police officer. So you was trying to build a bomb? Like, what? Clearly, nothing, it didn't go off. Like, and the fact that they upheld this suspension, it's just like...
It's despicable. His
dad was so upset, and
I would, even though they figured out it wasn't a bomb.
They figured out it wasn't a bomb, and a spokesperson for the police officer in Irving said that they didn't even have reason to believe that it was dangerous. They had no evidence. The boy continued to say that it was a clock, but the cops felt like he wasn't telling the whole story.
But because his name is Ahmed Mohammad, it's a problem. Get the fuck. God, my tongue.
I was so sad, yes, because I'm like, this is such a way to break a child's spirit.
Yeah. And if he didn't have parents who were, supportive of, really behind him and involved, what would have happened to this little boy?
I'm so glad that Obama and Zuckerberg came forward. Like,
girl. But this happens all the time to children of color. It's like, no matter what level of education you are in, it's like, anytime that you have such amazing talent, you have people who just want to try to stifle it. And then you have these idiots who are white, who don't know how to write, but are in your college class asking you to write their paper. Makes no sense. It doesn't. It makes no sense. And they have all these stupid programs for people of color because, we didn't reach a certain education point. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. And then you just have all these other kids getting passed through the system because of their skin color, because they went to a certain school in a certain district. Sorry, Victoria, I'm just...
Oh, you made really good points. So did Jasmine. Yeah, no, I just think it is really sad and discouraging for a young person who's just starting school to try to show their teacher something and their teacher end up getting them arrested, and then they get suspended, and the suspension was upheld even though they found out it wasn't a bomb. That's so petty to me, because I was suspended one time in school for something that was just bullcrap in high school, and even though they like took it off my record and they agreed, okay, this was petty, they still made me stay out of school.
Right.
So I don't understand why they do that. I don't understand what that's about.
Girl, you know.
You know, and that's just sad. And like you said, you know, as a student of color, it's just like, you just can't win. You know, if somebody else came into the school with a clock, and like you said, why would I bring you a bomb? Why would I hand it to you? If I'm gonna start some shit and some destruction, I'm just gonna drop this mug in a corner and let it explode. I wouldn't be like, hey teacher, so I made this. Like, and your first inclination is to think that I would make a weapon of mass destruction.
Right.
Like, that's so inner bias and discrimination, you know, running through your head for you to just jump to that conclusion. Like, oh, okay, right. It's just it's a racist thought. Whoever it was, whatever the teacher looked like, it's a racist assumption. Oh, and I would never jump from 0 to 100 like that.
Right.
Like, this a motherfucking bomb. Ahmed think he's slick, but I'm going right to principal. Shaq Hennessy. I'm going to Principal Shaq Hennessy right now, and we're gonna shut this down. Like, it is very sad. It's very just ridiculous, and it does break a child's spirit when I can't even show you things that are important to me, but you want me to bring in these trash ass projects to fulfill some requirements. Yeah.
Yeah. Volcano with the baking soda.
Here's some real stuff. Here's some real stuff for you. Wow, what you know about homemade clock?
Nothing, not a damn thing.
Nothing, and that's why you finna get arrested. Because I'm not smart. But I'm teaching you.
Exactly.
Funny how life works.
Exactly.
But you know what's crazy? This baby is so far beyond his years. Like, I watched his whole interview, and he was so articulate.
Press conference?
Girl, I love him.
Love him.
And he was just like, the way he was even speaking, it was like, he knows that these teachers are just ignorant as hell.
Okay. Idiots.
Like, the way he was never disrespectful, but he was like, like, you could just tell, like, he got it. Right.
Right. You're smart.
I'm going to shut you down.
Right.
Because he's going places.
Okay.
He's like, I know they couldn't appreciate my brilliance.
He is going places. He's going places.
Yeah, for sure.
But my thing is this, like, even if, because people were looking at the pictures and they were like, well, it do look like a bomb. I'm like, listen, there are ways to handle things if you think something is up. Just be like, oh, you know what, let me keep this clock for a second. And maybe you want to have somebody monitor him or whatever to make sure his behavior is still fine. But I'm like, if you've never seen anything that would make you think that he did something like this, then have somebody investigate it, but you arrest him before you even know what it is. Why? Thank you for watching this episode of Did Y'all See? For more videos just like this one, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/MadameNoire.